Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Guys, this is your quick tip of the week. So I was just leaving for this evening and you see that there is a puddle of water. Now looking up, you see how it's wet on the left side and it's all dry on this side. So where's this water coming from? Looking up, there's a crack right there, and then you can see a puddle that is developing right there. So what this means is that the roof is leaking. We have the gutter over here, so what we're a foot from the bottom of the gutter, this is where it's leaking from. So this is coming from the roof itself. So I'm gonna have to hop onto the roof and see what's going on. Now, an added benefit is that since there's a soffit vent here, this will be really easy to get to. I may take my rigid inspection camera and put it up through the soffit and see where this is coming from. But with that in mind, what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is the materials and tools list for this job. So since I don't have my new material, I'm going to use the old 3-tab shingles that were on the garage. The headlamp portion is still usable. Geocel 4500 for sealant, 1.5" galvanized roofing nails. For tools, flat bar, knife, measuring tape, hammer, and a silicone gun. Guys, this is all we need for material and tools to temporarily fix this leak. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are the next day. It was raining a little bit earlier on, so I expect it to rain later on as well. So the leak is about here. So there are two ways to mark this. First of all, you can throw like a broom right up onto the roof where it's leaking. Or in my case here, since this house is a rectangular box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure off, and then when I go up to the roof, I'm just going to follow the measurement. Okay, so from our exterior wall, it's 5.5 inches. As long as we're within 6 inches, it's fine. So I'm going to measure off now from the exterior wall here. So this is where it was leaking. 15 feet. So roughly 15.5 feet is where our leak was. And the water was coming from here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go hop onto the roof. And then we're going to go to the area where the water was dripping. Remember, the water was dripping there doesn't mean it's necessarily leaking from that same spot. Okay, so being up on the roof here, I think the leak is somewhere in this area here. Again, that's just where the water was dropping down from. So what I'm going to do is measure off from this end here and go back 15.5 feet. Okay, so this is about 15.5 feet, and I see a nail that is partially exposed. This nail here is partially exposed, and I'm fairly certain that's what's going to be the issue here. Alright, so this is the nail here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat bar, start from here and pry up. So we do have a keyway here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pry this up here. This is a double laminate here, so try to hit your double areas, but since I'm so close to the roof here, it's going to be really tough to film. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead with my flat bar. I'm going to pry this up. We'll see if I have to go a little bit farther down or not, but just this area of shingle, and then once I have that pulled up, we'll see what we got. All right, so this is our nail. So I pulled it up here, and I pulled up just enough. You see how the shingles are brittle. Anyways, this is the nail, and the nail is all rusty, which means water's been getting to this for a little bit of time. So what I'm gonna do is I'll put a new nail in over here. And then I'm going to put a piece of shingle to cover this nail up. And now with this here, this makes me wonder if there is more nails in other areas where they're just slightly exposed. But looking at the roof, like here, you can see the amount of granules that is gone. You look at the gutter and you can start to see the buildup. One easy way to tell is the condition of your roof, how much of the actual shingle, the granules, you have in your gutter. If you have more granules in your gutter than on your roof, then you got to start thinking about replacement. All right, I'm going to use the headlap portion here of this old 3-tab shingle. I don't have any new shingles here because I actually just took everything for a roof job that I'm going to do on this upcoming weekend. So I'm going to use this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Geocel on the top here, Geocel on the bottom, and then I'm going to nail maybe 2 nails here, and that's going to cover the nail hole that is exposed, and that's going to fix this issue. All right, so this is our nail here. So this is my piece of headlap that I'm going to slide right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Geocel the bottom. I will put a nail. Do you see how it's cracked here? You want to be aware of that. I'll put a nail over here and a nail over here, and then I'll just Geocel the rest, and that is going to keep this from leaking. And it also doesn't hurt just to put Geocel into the hole itself. All right, so there's the hole. I put some Geocel here, a little there. So we'll slide this in like that. I'm gonna put a nail in here, a nail in here, and then Geocel this all down. As you can see, the shingles are getting brittle, so that is telling you that we're at the tail end of the life here for this roof. So I'll put 2 nails in here and here. I can't hold the camera while I do it. Okay, so there's a nail there. There's a nail here. What I'll do is I'll Geocel underneath it, and I'll Geocel this stuff back down. And this is just gonna hold this down, at least for now. It's getting dark and it's supposed to rain. Remember, you can always come back and put a bigger piece in, but like I said, I have all my stuff in somebody else's garage ready to do a job right now, so this is just making the best of something temporary right now. So I'll Geocel down here, and then I'll Geocel all this down. I'll step on it, compress it, and we'll look at one more thing really quickly before we go. All right, so you see this here, how this is flapping. I put a little bit of Geocel underneath it. Just put a glob, step on it just to hold it down. That should be good right there. Remember, anything loose like this, it'll start to flap in the wind, it'll break off. Especially if you have a nail somewhere here and it's exposed, you're gonna have the exact same problem that I just addressed a moment ago here. Now, it looks like the rain is going to be coming here pretty quick, because you look at the big, dark, beautiful clouds coming our way. But guys, when it comes to small nails, if you see half a nail exposed, what's going to happen is the water's going to come down, hit the nail head, and trickle down the puncture, the nail hole, and that is what's going to give you a leak. You see the nail? That is the old nail. You see how rusty it is? They're also short. They only did, looks like 1-inch nails, maybe 1.25 inches, but in either case, this is a quick and simple way to fix the problem. Just take a piece of architectural shingle. This headlap because it's better than the other one. Break your seal strip, slide it underneath, put a nail or 2 in. If you go really liberal with the Geocel, that will be fine if you have a really brittle roof, because I did do that as well. But make sure that you seal the top down, seal the bottom down. If you don't nail it, put a couple nails, but make sure that your nails are in the headlap of the shingle below, and you should be good to go. Guys, as your quick tip of the week.